Well, we are back with another episode of Gotham Knights, or rather, the now cancelled Gotham Knights. So we've only got, after this episode, one episode to go, and we never have to take another look at this terrible show ever again. It's been deservedly cancelled. I don't really see why it should be kept around in the first place, or why it would even be considered to be kept around in the first place. But we're on to episode 12. Another episode of shite. That's the only way to put it, just more shite. More shite to add to the other layers of shite. This episode is all about exposing the Court of Owls. Finally, because I'm so sick of the Court of Owls. I never want to see the Court of Owls in media ever again. I'm quite happy to never see him again. They've completely ruined the Court of Owls storyline by, first of all giving it to Bruce Wayne's made-up adopted son. They've already wasted it on that. So, yeah, it's just, what a show. What a show. That's the only thing to say about it. And we're just going to get in. I'm going to be pretty brief. I do say that, and we'll probably end up here an hour. We shall have to see. But we start off because let's try and remember the previous episode, because they took another week off last week. So, I'm pretty much lost at this point. Let's go into the little previously. So, previously, we found out that Harvey Dent was Duella's dad. That came out of nowhere. But apparently Harvey Dent was her dad. Duella, after being forced by her mum. Because the one thing I've noticed about this show is they really love parents. They really love, fathers and mothers. No, they're just some of the most awful people you've ever come across. I don't know. It seems to me like they have a thing against parents. I don't know what it is. Every mother is a piece of shit. Every father is a piece of shit. You just can't get away from it. Even when it comes to Bruce Wayne, where we're led to believe that Bruce Wayne was the murderer of his adopted son's parents. We still haven't went into that this episode. I've got a feeling, because it's being cancelled after half a season, that's not going to be resolved in any way. In any way whatsoever. But that's basically what the last episode was. It was also... why am I just blanking on it now? I mean, who the fuck cares? But that was essentially the episode. I honestly can't remember. I cannot remember what happened in the previous episode. That was when Turner almost got caught by the police, and we had a load of bollocks happen to prevent that. But that was essentially the episode. But now, in this episode, we open with this guy. Still don't know his name. Marsh? Something like that. He's now been elected as mayor because Harvey Dent, he lost because of... it turned out he slept with someone he put in prison. And then had a daughter, Duella. So that's why he didn't win. We seem to have just skipped over a lot of stuff. That now, oh no, we're done with the mayor campaign now. He's mayor. Right, we skipped over a lot there. But good. We can get through it a bit quicker. So we have a little sequence of it turned out to be, it's actually the woman that's in charge of the Court of Owls. And we know nothing about her still. We decided to introduce that as a thing in episode 10. They said, it's actually her. This woman you don't know anything about and you haven't seen on the screen maybe for about 5 minutes. Yeah, it's her. She's actually the brains behind the Court of Owls. We're not going to try and build the character up first. So then when you get the reveal that, she's the bad guy. There's a lot more satisfying things there. Not just go, here you go, here's this character you don't know nothing about. But it's a CW. So, the first 5 minutes, generally, there's nothing to say. They really meander on for the first, probably 7 minutes. It's just, I can't believe you stood up to your parents. They were assholes and stuff like that, because her parents are scumbags as well. Just as Harper's parents are scumbags as well. Her dad beat her and her brother. Every parent is a scumbag. So that's basically what that... There's like an alarm going off or something like that in the attic. So they're all like looking about, what is this thing? But we do come back to that. We got to go and see Duella. I don't know. She's doing shit with her mum. Her mum's like, we need to get you a new ID before we can get you out of Gotham. So, not really. You don't necessarily have to do that. But we come back to them now and again. You know, whatever, really. So then they find that, oh, there's this little device going off that is to do with the, if you can remember, the lapel pin that recorded the Marsh guy killing Cressida, fake Alfred. That apparently this is it's saying, oh, there's a low battery. There's still battery in it, is there? That was like weeks ago when you used that. That was weeks ago. And one thing I have noticed is the one thing I thought in this episode that they kind of fucked up was, what was it? That the evidence is somehow, for some reason, the evidence isn't stored. Like when they crashed the party, the Court of Owls party, they didn't think to, when they were filming it with the lapel pin, to have a receiver. So when they were sitting in the van, they could watch what was happening and record it at the same time. That way, if you lose the lapel pin that stores the footage for some reason, you have another copy. But they didn't do that, because we need them to be stupid to make certain things happen. So that's why. But originally I thought, oh, so they should really have this footage in the first place. So that's a bit that, they fucked that up a bit. Everything you watch, if someone has, whether it's Mission Impossible, whatever, they have a camera, it goes back to like a laptop. There's someone sitting there watching what Ethan Hunt is looking at. It's very straightforward. But no, need characters to be dumb. So they call up her, they're like, oh yeah, it's the thing for the lapel pin. So, right, so you've got so basically, you've got something that says, oh, it's running out of battery, but you don't have, oh, this, we'll record this. That way we have a copy if Turner gets caught by the Court of Owls. Yet you have, oh, it's low battery. Really? But again, it's been weeks, so that shouldn't be going off anyway. But every time the start of this episode, it's just some contrivance after another. Or just something really, really convenient. So they're like, I don't know, what do they say? Yeah, so I don't even know what they... Well, yeah, it comes up on the news that this guy's like, we're doubling the reward to catch Bruce Wayne's killers, the Gotham Knights. Right, again, I have to keep coming back to, you've had them. You have had all of these people in this room multiple times, and every time you come back, say, we're doubling the reward. No, you fucking had them in the previous episodes. How do you still not know where these fugitives are? Yet, for some reason, as we're about to establish in this episode, that there is an extra floor in Wayne Tower and in other towers around Gotham where the court have been sort of going in. Yet they can't seem to find out where these people are, even though it's so obvious. And they keep letting them go, only to the next episode go, we're doubling the reward. Oh, right, well, you don't need to do that, though. You had them. You haven't put... Again, I think it was the previous episode or the episode before that. Like it was when Turner had radiation poisoning. They did that so they'd be able to track him to where they are. Like, the police literally showed up at the school in one of the previous episodes, and they still don't know where the fuck they are. They still haven't figured, oh, well, the radiation team were brought to this location, so they must be around here somewhere. So they should be able to just go and get them. And it's that simple. You know, again, they're not really living up to their rhymes, are they? The Court of Owls sees all. You don't know, do you? Because you are a shit secret society. You know, we're supposed to believe that they just know all, yet they don't. They don't know fucking what's going on in the city they control. So they're doubling the reward after already having them multiple times. So then Harvey goes and he starts having a bit of a to-do with this guy that's now become mayor. And then he turns up in his disguise. You know, he just keeps putting a pair of glasses on and a moustache. And then, oh, I'm actually a cop now. So he turns up with that. He steals the key card for the penthouse lift to go up into the mayor's house, into his apartment. So they get that. They head up there. They go up into the office. Where they go up to where they were told by Brody, the guy that... fuck it, who cares? Brody, the guy that used to go out with Stephanie. So they know where the thing is. They've realised, oh, he didn't send us that text the previous episode. So, and then these guys come in, they're like, oh, you told us the motion sensors were off. Why does everywhere have motion sensors? Like every single building, no matter what room it's motion sensors everywhere. But apparently they figured out, oh, they're here. So these incompetent twats, again, they come in with their guns. And generally what a gun is used for is to... you can stand at a distance. These guys decide we're going to walk right up to these girls with our guns and put our guns within their reach. Meaning, oh, we can take your guns off you now. So that's why you don't do that. Nobody does that. You don't just go, I'm going to walk up here. Look at this, Dave. I'm just going to walk up to them with my gun and put it in their face so they can grab it off me and make myself look utterly incompetent. And again, makes me wonder, who is employing these shitty henchmen? But it's, something like that every episode. They just do something illogical. I don't know what they're doing. They go right up to them with the guns. Why would you not go stand from a distance and go, put your hands on your head and kneel on the floor? Or lay on the floor, something along those lines. And then you go closer to them. Because that way, if they're on the floor, they're going to have a lot less trouble getting your weapon off you. But no, these guys just go, nah, we're going to walk right up to them so they can grab it off us. So then the GCPD has been called. So now they got cops after them. They're like, shit, can we go out the basement? Can we go out the garage? They're like, nah, police are there. So she goes, what about floor N? Well, no, what you're trying to do is escape. By going to a certain floor, how are you going to get out of the building? How are you going to... Well, you can't escape, can you? But they've had it... Oh, no, they go to floor N, because then they can find Brody, who was killed in an episode, and he's been resurrected. So that's why they're going to floor N, even though it doesn't really make any difference what floor you go to anyway, because you're trying to get out of the building. I don't even think they explain how they get out of the building. They're just like, oh, we can't get out of the building. And then they skip a scene, they're out of the building. So they're going to floor N. This is apparently, it's to do with, because there's superstitious twats in the world that go, can't have a 13th floor. And those are obviously people that probably shouldn't be making decisions when it comes to designing buildings. I mean, if you're superstitious about a number. So that's essentially what they say. That they're just like, well, back in day, they used to be petrified of a number. Which is, of course, true. So they're like, so this must be an extra floor. Alan Wayne designed this building. And then they start to realise, oh, that's how the Talon got to Bruce Wayne. There was an extra floor in Wayne Tower. Which I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, is a thing in the comic books as well. I'm pretty sure better explained, though. So then, just as we're trying to get away from the police, they decide to stop and have a kiss. Because we're still doing our lesbianisms. So we're still doing that. Again, every time this stuff comes up, it's always in the worst possible time. It's always when the police are coming after them, or they're trying to rescue one of their friends. They go, here, let's kiss. No, there's people after you. Maybe focus on the task at hand. They then stumble upon Brody's body. He's been banging on there. He comes out. And then we get more guys that come in. You know, I don't know why they bother. I don't know why they bother. We go back to Duella. She burns that. You know, her mum's getting pissed off that the money she was expecting to get for Turner fell through because, of course, he didn't get caught. So she's just like, we need another job to do. We need another job. So she's going to sell out her own daughter because every parent is a piece of shit. So, yeah, that's when they figure out Alan Wayne designed this and that, so that means Wayne Tower will have another floor in it. They tell Harvey that, so Harvey goes and checks it out. But we got another fight scene, so this is where we find out, oh, he can't die. So she screams. Well, do you want to know where they hide? Like, they just hide behind a couple of barrels. And this is like a big empty room. They're hiding behind barrels, talking on the walkie-talkie. Maybe you're going to get caught that way. So that guy gets shot. So she screams. And then the other guy with a gun just stands there while Harper walks towards him and behind him and hits him on the head with a pipe. So the guy just stood there. Just stood there. And watch this person knock him out. They didn't think about they didn't really think about where people were situated, whereabouts they were in the room. So they just went, oh well, Harper goes. Well, no, she was in front of him though, so that would mean that guy would turn the gun and go bang, 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 bang. So we find out, oh, he can't die. So he comes back to the thing. You know, he's like apologizing to Turner, that, you know, because at the beginning of the season, he was giving Turner a hard time, saying, of course you knew Bruce Wayne was Batman. You did know. There's no way you didn't know. And his mum's turned out to be worse than Cruella de Vil or something like that. So he's like, they're like, how did that footage come along? Because they've now got the little camera back up, but they can't see anyone's faces. All right, that was a waste of fucking time then. That was a waste of time. Thanks for that. That was a waste of time. That entire segment. And I'll bring up again. How did you get out of that building? It was swarmed by police. You know, I think they could have done a really... added something a little extra there to have things actually make sense. Because when we find out Bruce Wayne was killed by the Talon because there was an extra floor... The Talon, but how did the Talon get into that extra floor? You know, did he take the lift up and go, oh, to that floor, please? But it's like, well, you should still be spotted then, shouldn't you? Whereas if they had, oh, there's a secret hatch here that leads us out from the building, you know, then you could have that make sense. But they haven't done that. They just went, nah, skip it. They're back at the attic. So they haven't got any video footage evidence, so that's over. Great. So, all right. I don't know. I don't know why this footage was even kept. Why they even hanged on to it. Why one of our villains kept the footage when it doesn't show anything. And his wife gave him a hard time about it as well. But it's like, oh no, there's no evidence on it though. Other than, oh, the court of hours are real, but you need faces to actually put to it. So they find out from him because he was in his coffin and he heard people talking that there's a celebration going on for the Court of Owls. So that's going to be their next objective. So we go to this wicked bitch. You'll never guess what we get. We get a repeat of a line that we got in the 3rd episode. We have this evil piece of trash say it. So that's that's why I've been looking forward to talking about this episode, because it's just hilarious every time they write this piece of dialogue in some of these shows and movies. So she's told, oh, there's been a break-in. I mean, you waited a bit. You waited quite a while to tell her this. So they show her that. So I guess she's starting to realize, oh, we're going to be found out, when she could just kill them. And she'd be fine. But no, later on, she calls the cops and frames her husband. She just throws it all away. She didn't even attempt to try and cover her tracks. She just went, nah, it's over. So I'm going to kill everybody, and I'm going to frame my husband as the leader of the Court of Owls. I mean, I guess they're just trying to rush to the end. I guess that's what they're going for here. So we get a stupid scene that I don't give a fuck about, because none of it's been built up whatsoever. It's basically Carrie and her mum. Carrie's like, oh, you know, I'm protecting people like you did, Mum. I watched you work all these long hour shifts, and that's essentially it. So it's like, I don't care about any of this because you've done nothing. You've done nothing for it. So I don't care about Carrie or her mum. So Harvey Dent's here. He finds his way into this extra floor. They're coming up with their plan to get into this party. They're saying things like, it's gonna be like getting in Fort Knox. That literally the last party you crashed of the Court of Owls, you just walked in. And I'm pretty sure there you said, oh, it's gonna be hard getting in here. They just open up a door and walk in. They do that here as well. There's 2 guards. And they're like, oh, it's gonna be guarded like Fort Knox. There's 2 people. 2 people. I guess they could afford more extras. So that's when Duella turns up. She's like, do you need help? They're like, nah, fuck off. And she goes upstairs and packs. And then he goes up and follows her and says, listen, Duella, you can stay if you want. But now she's like, nah, you don't want me here. Fuck off. And that's what that is. Because they're in love, guys. They're in love for reasons. But finally, she takes her mask off and she's like, I don't come out of the shadows much. So this time it's because we got a lot to celebrate. There's so much I want to celebrate. And we find out things like, because, well, she's resurrected a load of their old talons. Or they have multiple talons. Even though they... So, about 6 talons show up. Apparently, their bodies haven't decomposed, and I'm starting to wonder. So, if you had all of these, so I don't even know. You try and actually apply logic to this show. You just, you shit out of luck, really. But that's what they do, and then we find out. Oh, the reason they died, or somewhat died, was because their electrum, the immortality juice, depleted. So I'm like, you're talking this big game about eternal life, yet you run out of this material. Like, eventually you will die. So there's not really any eternal life about it, is there? It's just, oh, you get an extra 50 years. All right, I'm fucking 50 now, so what good is that going to do me? I'm not 50. I started to wonder, will people think I said I was 50 then? But yeah, there must be people in that room that are like 50 and they're going, oh, you get an extra 50 years, but all right, well, so I'm going to die like I normally would. Right, that's not really any good to anyone, is it? So Harvey Dent finds the gap in between Wayne Tower. He's going through it. Does anything else get... No, I don't think anything else gets said here. They just come in. Again, they said it was going to be guarded like Fort Knox. They're just in the building. Didn't even see how they got in. But they come in. There's 2 guys. They beat them, of course. 2 guys. Fort Knox. They said the word Fort Knox. And then we got to stop for a kiss again, because that makes sense when you're enacting this plan of exposing the Court of Owls. What you do is you go, we're going to have a big kiss again. Fucking hell. So listen, if I wanted this, I would just go and watch a porno. That's what I would do. But instead what you're doing, you're bringing it in when it doesn't quite fit the situation that's going on. So this guy comes up to his wife, and she's saying, well, no, he comes up and says, you never run it by me of bringing back all these talons. And she's like, I don't need to bring it up to you because you're just a stupid fucking man. I guess that's what she means. She's just like, you're careless. You're careless. And then it turns out she's poisoned him, and everybody else in the other room is going to get killed because she thinks it's only a matter of time before we get found out. She hasn't attempted to try and prevent it from coming out. She's just went straight to mass murder. Not, we're going to figure this out first. If we can't figure it out, then I'm going to have to go to plan C, where I just kill everyone and frame my husband. But she's just went there as her first plan. Because she's evil, guys. She's evil. So, yeah, he gets a bit hot under the collar, and then he collapses. We're getting to the piece of dialogue that I love. I absolutely love it. So, well, he has Electrum in him, so he won't die. She says to him, I'm going to bury you alive. And that, like, deep enough so no one can hear your pleas. And then he goes, you're pure evil. As he says there, you're pure evil, as she is. And then, what do you think she says? And you're just another man taking credit for a woman's work. Well, I mean, he took credit because, again, they fucked this up again, didn't they? They did that early on in the season. They had a character say, another man taking credit for a woman's work. The character that said that was someone that a guy took credit for her work, but he did it to stop her from going to jail, and she thanked him for it. So that didn't make sense there. And here, it's like, well, no, you made him take credit. He didn't take credit, you gave him credit. You gave him the credit. So it doesn't make sense for you saying that, but it's just wham and boss moment. She says, another man taking credit for a woman's work. I mean, I don't know why you have the evil person say this. I just don't know why you would have it that way. Rather than having it, oh, the hero girl says it to the villain guy. That would make more fucking sense. Not, we're going to get the evil person to say it. But Harvey's looking through this place. They go to escape and they turn up. They've all just had their necks slit, their throats slit. She just went straight to mass murder. As you do. As you do. You don't attempt to prevent something first. You just go straight to, I'm going to kill everybody. But they're now being called. I guess she called the police. So the police show up and they got them. And then it turns out that the woman is Dr. Leviticus, the person that discovered Electrum. So that's where we find out, oh, she's been around for about 200 years. And no one has once thought, you look very familiar. You haven't aged a day. We soon find out she was married to Alan Wayne. So that right there, that tells me, oh, so that, yeah, they would have recognized her. If you're married to someone, a Wayne, I can imagine your picture is somewhere in Gotham. And people would, again, this isn't that far back. This is about the 50s. So there's going to be paintings, photographs of the both of them. So I'm just like, how are you getting away with this? You know, I would get it if you were like, oh, well, I married this guy in this city, and then I came to this city. That makes a lot more sense than, just no one recognized. No one realized when it's so obvious. Whatever, don't even try, show. So the police come in, they've been caught, so they're fucked. They've been caught. So, yeah, there we have it there, that Alan Wayne engaged to Rebecca Leviticus. She's even got the same name, and no one has noticed this. Just whatever. So then she comes in. She got here quick. Fucking hell, what'd she teleport? So she comes in here. she just says to him, "Oh, the court they were going to frame you, but then I fell in love with Harvey. Did you?" She apparently fell in love with him, and then he stupidly goes, "I could never fall in love with someone as twisted and sick as you." Harvey, have you ever heard of this concept called lie? Just lie. Why would you not just lie? You just go, "Yeah, I'll join you in your new life." Then when she's least expecting it, you put the cuffs on her. You don't just go, because she's going to take you away now. She's just like, "Oh, well, so be it." And a couple of guards come and take him away when you could have just lied. Could have just lied. All you had to do was lie for a day. Pop the cuffs on her, go, "Here, Prime Minister," mayor. Well, we ain't got a mayor now. We now have another mayor who's dead. But just turn them into the authorities and go, "She was the head of the Court of the Owls." I don't know. Maybe record something on your phone. Maybe try that. No. You're just going to go, "Take me away." So that's essentially all that is. We then cut back to the Gotham Knights being led into the police station. And this guy on the desk, Cullen has impersonated a police officer multiple times. This guy's seen him every time. And now he's recognizing him. Meaning, his disguise didn't work then. If that guy's just went, "Oh, I recognize you without your glasses and moustache." Why didn't you recognize him as a fugitive before? So, he said, it's like you should feel a bit shamed for that you didn't even realize. You did not realize that the guy disguised as a police officer in a very obvious way turns out to be the fugitive. You never noticed it. So we're told, that the governors are already looking for the death penalty. Right, but this hasn't went to trial yet. Even when Turner was originally framed for Bruce Wayne's murder, there was no trial. They just sent them to prison. Because the CW writers, they don't realize how things work. That before you get sent to prison, you have a trial. So it's not just, death penalty. No, they've got to have a trial first. Got to have a trial. But they're going to escape the next episode anyway. They put them in the same cell together. Again, you put them in the same cell. The amount of things in media that does that now. Where they all get put in the same cell. No, they get split up. Because what happens if they overpower and work together to escape? That's why you don't put them in the same fucking cell. But that's what they've done. They're like, "Oh shit, it's over for us." So Duella sees this on the news. And she's like, I don't know, she's saying to her mum, I don't know, I think she wants to help her friends or something like that. Her mum then knocks her out with this. At first I thought she hasn't stabbed her. We do not have that again. But she knocks her out with something. She's gonna get the reward money. So she sold out her daughter because, like every other parent in this show, she's a scumbag. So Duella's fucked as well. Because, well, we need Duella to be there, don't we? And before we finish, this evil woman that complained about another man taking credit for a woman's work, she tells the Talons that your targets are in a jail cell. Go and murder them. You could have done that earlier on. Instead, you thought, what I'll do, I'll make it harder for the Talons, because now they've got to try and get into a jail cell in an owl costume. So I don't know how they just show up in the cell. That's how it'll work. They just show up in the cell. They won't even have to unlock the door. They'll just be in the cell in some scene the next episode. And that brings us to the end of episode 12. More just, a lot of bollocks. More of it. Just more. I don't. Every episode basically plays out the same with this show. There's not really. I think it's, as I said, the previous episode I done. Every episode is the worst episode. There's no. The only episode I can think of that isn't necessarily absolute shite because nothing happened in it was probably episode 2 or 3. just because they literally did nothing. So that's the only that's what raises it above the rest. That they didn't do enough things to fuck up anyway. But yeah, that's episode 12. So we've got one episode to go, which will be out next week. And then we're done. We are done with Gotham Knights, and the world is done with Gotham Knights.